Welcome to the Food Bank of South Jersey's Summer Feeding Site Supervisor Training. This training will cover an overview of the program, proper procedures for meal service, record-keeping requirements, and the monitoring process. The Summer Food Service Program, or SFSP, operates as a federal reimbursement program to provide free, nutritious meals and snacks to children in low-income areas. SFSP is administered on the state level by the New Jersey Department of Agriculture and the USDA. The Food Bank of South Jersey serves as your SFSP sponsor. It is our responsibility to prepare and deliver food and oversee meal sites to ensure their compliance with state regulations. We provide meals at no cost to meal sites and are reimbursed a standard amount by the state for each meal served in compliance with state regulations. Your organization will serve as a meal site. It is a meal site's responsibility to supervise food distribution, record the number of meals served, and report this information to FBSJ. A meal site is any location where SFSP meals are served. A meal site cannot be located in a person's home. There are three types of meal sites: open, restricted open, and closed or enrolled sites. At open meal sites, meals are available to all children in the community. They must be located in an area where at least 50% of children receive free or reduced price lunch during the school year. The number of meals served at these sites must still be recorded. Restricted open meal sites serve meals to all children in the community on a first-come, first-served basis. Attendance is restricted for reasons of security, safety, or control due to staff or site limitations. Meal counts must still be recorded for all meals served. Most FBSJ meal sites are either open or restricted open. Closed or enrolled sites only serve meals to children in a specific program or activity. Meal counts must be recorded for all meals served. Day camps are often closed sites. If you have a question about what kind of site you are, please contact FBSJ. All SFSP meals must include a specific number and type of components in accordance with USDA guidelines. A breakfast must have 3 components: milk, vegetable or fruit, and a grain or bread. Snacks must include 2 different components. Most commonly, this will be a 100% fruit juice or vegetable and a grain or bread. Lunches and dinners must contain 5 components, including milk, 2 servings of fruits or vegetables, bread, and meat. Any meals served that do not meet these requirements cannot be claimed as reimbursable meals and may be disallowed by the state. FBSJ has created a 5-day cycle menu that has been approved by the state office. If you serve what is listed on the menu, you will be in compliance with all USDA meal pattern requirements. Meal sites may serve up to 2 meals per day in any combination, except lunch and dinner cannot both be served. The menu rotates bi-weekly. Odd-numbered program weeks will be on the week 1 menu, and even-numbered program weeks will be on the week 2 menu. It is imperative that all sites follow proper meal service procedures. If state monitors observe improper meal service, they will disallow those meals and FBSJ will not be reimbursed for them. All meals must be served as a complete unit. Every component of each meal must be taken by all children, even if they don't like or don't want it. After the children take the meal, if there are components they don't eat, they can put it on a share table for consumption by others. Only children under 18 years old can be served. Adults cannot be served. All meals must be consumed on site. The only component that can be taken off site is a piece of whole fruit. Each site should receive as close to the exact number of meals they need as possible. If you consistently have enough meals to serve many children seconds, you are receiving too many meals. Furthermore, FBSJ does not get reimbursed fully for seconds. Therefore, we discourage giving children a second meal. Meals need to be served in a clean, safe environment. All sites must have access to the bathroom and hand washing facilities. More detailed training on food safety will be given in a separate webinar. If your site is outdoors, be sure to have a plan for food service during inclement weather. Every day, each site must have at least one person present who attended SFSP training at FBSJ or has viewed this webinar. Meals can only be served within the serving time you designated on your site information sheet. FBSJ must be notified if a meal time is changed. There must be 3 hours from the start of one meal to the start of the next. For example, if breakfast starts at 9, lunch cannot start before noon. A meal service may not exceed the maximum allowable meal service duration. Breakfast may be served for 1 hour, lunch or dinner for 2, and snacks for 1 hour. As an example, if your designated breakfast time is 8, breakfast cannot be served after 9. As a site coordinator, you are responsible for communicating daily with FBSJ to indicate your serve numbers for the next day. This communication ensures that the right number of meals are sent to each site and helps cut down on wasted meals. You should be in contact daily with Amanda Conover, Direct Service Associate. Her contact information is listed on the slide. You can either call, text, or email her with your serve numbers. You must also track the number of meals distributed at the point of meal service. This can be done either with a daily meal count tally sheet or a handheld clicker. This is a sample of a daily meal count tally sheet. If you do not have a handheld clicker, you must count the number of meals distributed using this form. As you hand a child a meal, cross off the numbers on the sheet. This form will be emailed to you prior to the start of the program. You must print it out and have it on hand for your meal distribution. Numbers from this daily meal count tally sheet will need to be transferred to the weekly universal form, which we will discuss next. Again, this form only needs to be filled out if you are not using a handheld clicker during your meal distribution. This is an example of the universal site record form. Serve numbers recorded with handheld clickers or on daily tally sheets must be transferred to this form after the meal service. This form should be filled out and returned to FBSJ weekly. You will receive this form from FBSJ delivery drivers. We will now look more closely at the parts of this form that you are required to fill out. At the top of the universal form is a section for general site information. The Food Bank of South Jersey should be filled in as the sponsor. The name of the site that should be listed on this form is the name you wrote on your site information sheet. It will also be listed on the Schedule A, a state document FBSJ will provide to you listing all FBSJ-sponsored meal sites. The agreement number is 04-3611, and your site code will be provided to you. Also, be sure to fill in your site address, site coordinator name, and the dates. The dates you write on this form should correspond to the dates for the week the form is for. The beginning date should always be a Monday and the ending date a Friday. It is important that all of these sections are filled out on every universal form. The main part of the universal form includes blocks for each type of meal. Fill out only the blocks that correspond to the meals served at your site. Sites are required to fill out the top 4 rows of the meal blocks, highlighted here in the red box. The first row should include the number of meals received over the number of meals that were spoiled and could not be served. The second row includes the number of meals served as firsts over the number served as seconds. This information should come from the handheld clicker or the daily meal count tally sheet. The third row is the number of meals served to adults. This number should always be 0 as adults are not allowed to be served. The fourth row is the number of meals you had as leftovers. At the end of the week, be sure to add up each row and fill in the total column, highlighted here in the blue box. Be sure to fill out all the site information sections highlighted in the green box. Fill out the top 4 rows of each block for the meals served at your site. Be sure to sign and date the universal form at the locations indicated within the red box. These forms should be returned to the FBSJ driver delivering meals on Monday for the preceding week. All sites must keep a site folder at their meal site at all times. The folder provided to your site at the FBSJ training may serve as your site folder and already includes many of the documents that must be kept in it. A list of the documents that must be kept in your site folder is presented on the slide, including your site information sheet, which you may already have a copy of or can be provided to you by FBSJ during your first monitoring visit. Your training certification form, which is already in the provided folder. The persons that were trained at FBSJ should fill out and sign this form. A copy of the menu, which is already in the provided folder. Your site eligibility determination, which will be provided to you by FBSJ at your first monitoring visit. Monitor review forms, which will be emailed to your site coordinator following your monitoring visit, and copies of your previous universal forms. A copy of your sanitary inspection report needs to be kept in your folder if it is not readily available at your meal site. This applies to indoor sites only. When state monitors visit your site, they will be looking for this documentation. This is what a sanitary inspection report looks like. If you don't have one, you can contact your local health department to get it. If you are unsure whether your site has one or not, please contact FBSJ. This report is valid for 1 year past the printed date. If your sanitary inspection report is out of date, you will be required to get a current one. Any changes to a meal service must be communicated immediately to FBSJ. This includes changes to the meal service time or in the number of meals served. You are not allowed to claim meals over your highest allowable daily participation level. This level is listed on the Schedule A in the alms column. Meals can still be served if a program is on a trip. On trip days, FBSJ can pack your meals in coolers with ice packs to keep them at the proper temperature until serving time. All sites were emailed a site trip information sheet to fill out with your trip schedule for the summer. Please return this to FBSJ as soon as possible. If you need another copy, email FBSJ. All sites open longer than 1 week will be monitored twice by FBSJ representatives. Sites open only for a week will be monitored once. Additionally, state representatives can show up unannounced for any meal service to monitor. If a state representative shows up to monitor your site, you must contact FBSJ to let them know. Key factors site monitors look for are included on the slide. Most importantly, they are looking to see that meal counts are being taken at the point of meal service, meals are being served at the correct time, and that food is being served in a safe and sanitary environment. If a state monitor is present and sees a problem with the meal service, they can disallow meals. Disallowed meals can still be consumed, but FBSJ is not reimbursed for them. Common problems leading to disallowed meals include meals not served as a unit, meals not consumed on site, and meals served outside the approved mealtime. When a problem is identified by an FBSJ monitor, various actions can occur. For minor problems, technical assistance will be provided and a summary of findings will be left at the site. For more serious problems, the site may be required to fill out a corrective action plan. Extremely serious deficiencies can lead to termination of the program. FBSJ will provide incentives to sites to help ensure compliance with the regulations of the program. If a site is monitored by the state and there are no findings or disallowed meals, the site coordinator will receive a gift card. For sites with continually high program attendance, small toys or gifts will be provided for the children. This slide highlights some of the most important program regulations discussed in this training. Make sure that all components of a meal are served to all children. Meals need to be served within your approved serving times. Breakfast and snack meal service may last up to 1 hour, and lunch or dinner meal service may last up to 2 hours. Meals need to be counted as they are distributed, either using a daily meal count tally sheet or a handheld clicker. All meals must be consumed on site. Keep your site folder up to date and make sure it is at your site during all meal services. Fill out the Universal Meal Record form completely every week and return it to the FBSJ driver on Mondays. If you have any further questions, comments, or concerns, please contact either Amanda Conover or Fallon Milligan. Thank you for your participation in the Food Bank of South Jersey's Summer Feeding Site Coordinator Training.